in the next allotted time, where a bunch of people will probably come up here and say some cool and different things. You can come up and 5 minutes or less is yours. You can give some words of encouragement to the students around you. If you're a senior, you can give some parting words of wisdom to the underclassmen if you'd like to, or just talk about something cool, a part of your story or your testimony, something God's been teaching you. Tell a funny joke, whatever your little heart desires. But we just need one brave soul to go first, and we'll spend some time at the very end of tonight honoring our seniors. So I'm going to sit down, and then the floor is whoever stands up and takes it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was record time.
All right, so I don't really know what I'm going to say, but I wish I would have been here more this semester, not going to lie. I feel like I had a lot more work than I thought I was going to have, but hopefully next semester is going to be a little better. But I guess, do y'all remember the first day when we did the wrote on the cards, words? Well, mine was patience. And if y'all remember the second week of school, I broke my leg. And so I learned to be patient pretty quick. So, I don't know, I feel like sometimes God just speaks to you in many different ways. So just kind of keep your eyes open, and you might break your leg. It might be partly your fault. But hey, it happens. But yeah, just I had a great semester with you guys, and hope next one's going to be even better.
Before I start, speaking of broken things, I just got my cast off, so.
Yeah!
I feel you about that patience part.
Yep. Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hey, you want me to pray? Yeah, I do. Okay. We're just going to pray for you. God, we just thank you so much for this night. I thank you for Joe and what he's about to share and what you put on his heart. And I just pray that you would lead him and guide him as he shares it. And I just thank you so much for Joe and his presence in my life and here. And just pray that this would be an encouragement to everyone. In your name we pray. Amen.
All right, so real quick, guys, I wanted to talk about Psalm 91, verse 2. So, search me, O God, and know my heart, test me, and these 4 words, my anxious thoughts. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So I know we're heading into finals week. Anxiety, we all have our ongoing battles. Stuff like depression's coming in. I'm going to try and give my story about how I've been battling anxiety and how the Lord has helped me with it. So if we open our books to Ephesians 6, 10 through 11, finally be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might, and put on the whole armor of God, that you may stand against the schemes of the devil. So here, Paul's talking to a soldier about how he's not winning his battles with his brutal strength. He's winning by the power that God has put on him in his mighty word. So when we're putting on that armor of God, there's no sword, lie, deceit, or fear that's going to pierce that armor. Secondly, I want to talk about Psalm 23, 1 through 4. This is known as the Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. So just what I kind of interpreted from this is, this incorporates defense, assurance, and care from God. I love the part where he says, he leads me beside still waters. Because God is leading you to that still waters. But if you're anything like me right now, guys, we're heading into that crashing wave. We're going into finals week where the waves are hard. The waves are crashing down, and when the world and the weight is overbearing, God is still with us. He also says, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Real quick, and if you take anything from tonight, I want you to remember these 4 steps that I'm going to say. That was God's recipe for me battling my anxiety. Number 1 is prayer, and I know this is said every single day, and I can't stress how important this is, but one of my mentors taught me about stepping away, and when the time is disrupted or filled with anxiety, that's your time to call out to God. That is your moment with him. Secondly is trust. Not only trust in the Lord, but look to the left and the right. Look in the back of your pastors. Trust in the children around God. Number 3, and this is the hardest part, is forgiveness. Tell God why you're angry. Take it to him. He's the one that's going to help you release that debt, help you find forgiveness. That's been one of the hardest parts from going through college, but God is there to listen and to hear your stress. Finally, and most importantly, know who you are in Christ. If you know who you are in Jesus, there is not a single trick the devil can play on you. If you know who you are in Jesus Christ, if you know who you are in God with your gospel, and you're filled with the Holy Spirit, he cannot pierce that armor. He cannot enter your heart with deceit, lies, deception, fear, grief, guilt, anything. And I want to leave you with this as to conclude. I am simply a vessel. My battles with anxiety are different than yours. My battles with depression have been different than yours. So my story is, and I'm sure a lot of us are going to be doing this with studying, or if we're watching Wednesday on Netflix, at 1 o'clock in the morning, in the dark, when you're alone struggling, just study, just breathe, keep your mind and your heart open, because God's never going to leave you. Not here, not now, not ever. I know God loves you. I know Jesus loves you. And I know that we're all going to be in the same kingdom of heaven. And I love you all too. Thank
you. Hey, and just to show you something that happened in Joe's life just recently that we wanted to share with you because you're his family. There's a little video that's going to show a decision Joe made a couple weeks ago.
That hair was something.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
First, I just want to say thank you. This is like my first semester here, obviously in college, and this is like my first campus ministry that I'm involved in. You guys have been really loving, and I really appreciate that. I put a timer on. 5 minutes?
We're timing you.
However long you want.
I gotta use it. I gotta use it.
Oh, he's talking to himself. Bro, that's awesome.
He says, I got stuff to say.
Go.
Okay, I'm gonna start from the beginning. So there's this video game that I always love to play. It's not important, but it's called Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
It's important, clearly.
I've been playing Smash since like Brawl, but like this game, like it just hit different. I love this game. I sunk hours and hours of this game. I think like since the last time I played it, right now I have 3,000 hours in this game. Yeah, that adds up to like a couple months. I've been brighter moments. But this game was like my everything. I spent hours on YouTube. I spent all my time with my friends playing this game, and moments when I was like really anxious and worried, I would come home and I would play this game. When I was really excited, I would come home, play this game. Some of my best memories with my friends would be with this game. So essentially, like this video game was almost like part of my life. And I've always been walking with God like my whole life. I grew up in the church, but I got like saved again, or like really saved like 2 years ago. But I had still been playing the game at that point. And I started reading through Matthew at the beginning of the semester, and I was really liking it. It was like my first time I was reading the Bible, and it was like really enjoyable. So that's crazy. This is fun. And then I came to this one verse, and it stopped me in my tracks. It's Matthew 6:24. I was reading this, and everything was like, it was a beautiful day. I was like reading this book, and I read this verse, and I was so confused. I'll start from 22. The eye of the lamp, or no, start at 24. No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money. And I was like, okay, like, and this is talking about idols. I was like thinking like, oh, idols, that's like the thing that the Israelites were worshiping when Moses went up the hill. It's like some metal calf. You could worship a metal calf. Why would I do that? It's weird. But like, I tried reading the next verses, but like, it just like, I became literate all of a sudden. Like, I simply could not like read the next verses. I was like, God, what's going on? And it's like, the only verses I could read was Matthew 6:24. I can't serve two masters. I was thinking like, God, what is it that's like separating me from you? Because what do you mean I hate you, Jesus? Of course, you're the love of my life. But then I thought about my video game and how I ran to that for my protection and for my safety, for my peace. And I kept thinking like, well, it's just a video game. It's not like I'm worshiping like an idol or like, you know, some statue. But I thought about it more and more, and it's just like, if I really believe that Jesus is my defense, He is my true love, then I wouldn't need this to find peace. I wouldn't need a video game, some technology. Why would I choose that over the one who saved my life? So, literally, I closed my Bible, I went upstairs, I packed up my Switch and put it in a case, and I left it like in some far closet in my dorm. And I was thinking like, I'm gonna regret this literally 5 minutes after I do it. I'm gonna like, this is just gonna be the worst 3 months ever. I can't play like the video game that I love. And I can tell you, this has been some of the best 4 months of my life. And maybe because like I'm in college, but like I spend so much time with my friends and with my family. When I got back home, I grew closer to the people, not because of a video game, just because I grew closer to the person. And most importantly, I grew closer to God. I really trusted that He could take care of anything. And like, as I was reading further, in John 14:27, it says, the peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give as the world does. The peace that God gives is not the one the world gives. The peace that Jesus gave me is greater than the one that I found in a video game. And I don't know how this applies to you, but sometimes idols can take forms and things that we may not know of, like maybe relationships, friends, social media, for me a video game. So I would just encourage all of you to just put your full trust in God. He won't fail. So,
Okay. Someone tag me. I don't know. I didn't grow up in the church. I didn't really believe in God until like a couple years ago, and I think coming to CCBT is what brought me closer to God, to like actually fully accept Him into my heart. So basically, this is my testimony. So freshman year of high school, I was freaking out about trying out for the track team. Like, I was scared. Like, I was like, I love running, but I'm not fast enough. I'm not gonna make this team. And this random girl, she came up to me and gave me this little yellow piece of paper, and it said, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And I was like, okay, like, I know who God is. I know there's a Bible. All right, like, I don't know what to do with this. So I put it in my pocket, and I went on the line, and my first thought was that Bible verse, and I made the team. And every single track meet after that, every single race I ran, I wrote Philippians 4:13 on my arm. And I never really explored the meaning of it, but I was like, you know what? There's a God, and He's giving me strength. So I started to pray. I was like, can you show me what you do? Like, you've been giving me this strength for so long. And then junior year, I was diagnosed with epilepsy, right? I was named the varsity captain, and my life just went tumbling down. I was almost the best on the team, and then my health just plummeted. And I kept praying. I was just like, God, like, where are you? You were supposed to give me strength. You were supposed to guide me through all this, and now I'm sick? Like, what's going on? I mean, I survived. I'm right here. But I think really really that moment led me to right here, because I kept praying and I really looked more into God, especially when I was like struggling with like why I was sick. I blamed it on him at first. I was like, what am I doing wrong that I was cursed with this horrible like disease? But senior year, I applied to tech, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get involved into Jesus more. I've never been to church. I've never touched a Bible, and I feel like if I speak to God more, that He'll like come into my life more, you know? So I put down my number. Morgan texted me over the summer. It's like, hey, we're CCBT. First day I moved in, Mike comes knocking on my door and recruits me, I guess. Like, I hadn't even looked at any other ministries, and this old guy comes up to me.
Wow.
This is getting better and better.
Kayla's like, keep going.
Yeah, keep it up.
Yeah, and he's like, hey, you should come check this out. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And we went to the Cascades, our first hike, and I was looking at the waterfall like the entire hike, and I was just like, there is no way that God's not real. Didn't Rock seriously make all this? Like there's possibly no way. I was like, I just had like a wow moment. I was just like, I keep saying like a lot. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be a public speaker. Anyway, I just at that moment I like fully accepted God. I was like, let me not get emotional. I'm sorry. I was just like in shock, and I came to every single Bible study, every single worship. I basically kind of lived in this house the past semester, and I made so many good friends. And my old friend called me up from home, and she's like, hey, how's life going? You know, you going to like frats and all this? I'm like, no, I made an amazing group of friends here at a ministry. She's like, what's a ministry? And I'm like, it's like church, you know? And she's like, you go to church? I'm like, yeah. And then she cut me off. My entire friend group from home cut me off. And my family, because they didn't really believe in God that much. Like, they supported me, but they just didn't get it. But I realized I can make my own family. You. Like, everyone right here, I've accepted as my family. And sorry, I said I wasn't gonna cry. I just have seen God work in miracles in my life ever since I got sick. And I am more sick now, but I feel like I'm getting better. Like I asked him the other day to give me closure and to confirm something in my life, and he did. And I honestly would not be alive if it wasn't for everyone in this room. So, I officially want to get baptized in the spring at the Cascades by Mike. Have I gone to 5 minutes yet?
I don't know, you started talking.
Yeah,
I
that's
never
it.
lost it. I
Well,
was responsible.
back to the track thing. So this girl gave me this note. When I turned 18, I got the tattoo on my arm so I wouldn't waste any more Sharpie. And I'm studying in my intro to political science class, and this same girl from 4 years ago sits in front of me, and I'm just like, wait, are you, like, Megan? Like, that's your name? And she's like, yeah, I recognize you. You were, like, the track captain, right? I'm like, yeah, like, I was just like, you're the reason I'm here today. You know, she like told me at my first track tryout that I can do all things through Christ, and she's like, yeah, I'm like, I'm Christian now. I've accepted God into my life. I got a tattoo on my arm. I'm just like, this is what I'm doing with my life. She started crying, I started crying. She's like, I can't believe I worked that way in your life. I'm like, yeah, God spoke to me through you, and I've seen that so many times. Like, God speaks to me through Alex and Carson and literally everyone, even if I don't really know you. But it's just amazing to see how he's worked in my life in the past couple of years. And I think, I don't know what I think. I just know that I'm here for a reason, sharing my testimony because he wants me to help people as well. Right now, my goal for winter break is to become closer with my family, focus on myself and my relationship with God, and hopefully bring my family towards heaven with me. But even if I might, sorry, I have dark humor. If you know, you know. But yeah, that's why I'm standing here right now, which is insane. Because like, if you had asked me a couple years ago where I'd be right now, I would have been like, at a frat party. Yeah, not studying for my exams, you know, just YOLOing life. But I'm in like a ministry. I actually have friends that actually care about who I am as a person. I've become more authentic and confident and loving just these past couple months coming to worship. And yeah, I love y'all.
Yeah, babe.
Hello, I'm Faith. So, Morgan, why are you taking a picture?
I'm not.
So I'm a freshman this year, and I learned about CCBT last spring because I went to like the accepted students weekend, and Morgan and Mike and Brandon had a table set up for CCBT, and it was pretty cool. I was like, okay, this is cool. You know, I moved in. I also, according to how Annalise puts it, got recruited by Mike to be part of CCBT. He just came and knocked my door. But this is probably the first time since like this year that I have been, since like August, September, that I've been healthy for more than like 2 weeks. So I've been pretty sick. I don't know what exactly lives in my dorm, and besides me and Madison, but something. Anyways, so like lately I've been like, at the beginning of this year, a lot of people that were in my life consistently weren't anymore. I mean, besides moving away, people that had an impact on me for years just like were gone for many different reasons. And I was like figuring out why. I was really lost, not where I am, not like where I'm meant to be. And besides being sick, I was like, you know, I had to miss class. I couldn't be in a room for more than like 5 minutes without coughing. It was kind of miserable, especially because I'm a very social and like outgoing person, and I kind of need that. And so it was a very like trying time. But so during this time, I'm like, you know, questioning everything. There's never a question like in my mind whether God was real or not, because that's, I don't know, it's just been such an impactful part of my life this whole time. But anyways, so I like finally, last Monday I went to like another worship night, and I like had this huge realization. I was looking for the home that only God can provide in places that were not God, and that was unsuccessful, as you might guess. But I recommitted my life to Christ, which was pretty cool. But yeah, and so I had all these plans, and I thought I knew what I was going to do with the next several years, and I was like, okay, this is definitely what I've got. It's all planned out, like it's lined up perfectly. That was not true, and I realized it all in this night. And I had written in my journal, talked to a bunch of people, had a lot of things going on that I hadn't fully realized. And that night, there were 4 different people that had come up to me and said things, word for word, what I had written or what I had spoken in different places, which is not possible in worldly ways at all. It's not. I mean, maybe if you really believe in coincidences, but I don't. So, but yeah, so that was pretty cool. And I just had this like revelation this past few weeks. And for me, I guess I've been learning contentment and patience. And in my, like, for me, I believe, you know, if there's art, there's an artist. If there's a building, there's a builder. If there's creation, there's a creator. So that's like, I have no doubt in that. And it's, I mean, you look outside and that, like Annalise also said, does not come from a rock. But I've also been learning in this, so not only is like the nature itself creation, but we're creation too. And so that's taught me, like, with looking at different people that I've had ups and downs with this whole semester. I mean, it's a whole big group of people, and I've met some really, really awesome people, and I'm super grateful for that. But I've learned that, you know, if he builds this creation that's like so amazing, and every other person around me is also his creation, regardless of where they stand. So who am I to look at somebody else and say, I think anything besides of how awesome and incredible they are as a person, because they too are creation. So I guess that's what God's been teaching me lately. So yeah, that's all.
So I'm gonna share a little bit of my testimony. So I grew up never really going to church except for Christmas and Easter. And my mom's side of the family was definitely like religious, faithful. My dad's side not so much, so that's why we never really went to church. But then coming here, it was important to me to find like a ministry, find a family. So, and I wanted to get involved and like figure out my faith, figure out where to start. And I went to a ton of different ministries, and thankfully, Josh, homie, brought me to a lot of different ministries, which is good for me. I think that was definitely a blessing. And so I found this ministry and got invited to this worship night. And there was this guy who ran for a track team at Milligan University in Tennessee. And he had been involved in an accident. He got hit by a car, him and his team, back in April. And I had seen that story back in April when it happened. So then when he gave his testimony, I was like, that sounds way too familiar. I've heard of Milligan. So I had to like reach out to him after. So I went up to him. I was like, dude, I heard your story. Like that's crazy. And at that point, before this worship night, I wasn't saved. And then that night he asked anybody, he's like, if you don't know Jesus and want to, and you want to give your life, just raise your hand. So I raised my hand that night, August 22nd, and gave my life to the Lord, and then talked to Alex after, which that's his name. And since then, he has been such a great mentor in my life and in my faith, and he has brought me a lot of wisdom and a lot of scriptures to back it up. And he actually helped me, along with God, work through, and I actually was called to leave a relationship that I had coming to college. And I left that relationship, and I felt the Lord's telling me to take a year to focus on Him. So I'm currently taking a year to focus on God and my relationship with Him. And He just taught me a lot over this semester. And part of that is just trusting in like the process of faith. And I have definitely grown a lot even in this semester. When I first got here, I was like, I was honestly more focused on like, what can God do for me? And that is not the stance you want to have. You want to worship God for who He is and what He's already done for you on the cross. And that's definitely something I've had to learn through this whole semester. Just trusting the whole process. And then last night at a worship service, I was fighting a lot of like spiritual warfare type stuff, and I was feeling a lot of like lies from the enemy, just telling me like, what am I doing, like all that, because I was more focused on a feeling of faith. And then I went to Alex, the mentor, and he told me that faith is more of a heart posture and not a feeling. And that just totally changed my perspective on stuff. And last night I went for a little walk, and I just talked to God, and I was like, God, like change my heart so I have the heart posture to worship you for what you've already done, and not for a feeling that you can give me, because you're worth so much more than a feeling or these miracles that you can give me. I worship you for what you've already done and the salvation that you brought to me. So that was just trusting the process. I know that faith is a heart posture and not a feeling. So that's kind of what he's taught me.
Wow, well done.
I know a lot of people, well, I know nobody here knows this about me, but one of the Bible verses that's ever stood out to me the most was Isaiah 43:2, which is, when you walk through fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you. Think of the fire and the flame as your biggest battles in life. Mine was 5 years ago when my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. They said if she had not caught it then, she had 2 months. I was just about to start my first year of high school, thinking that it was supposed to be happy time. Well, that June, it all changed for all of my family. And that's the way I've always looked at, ever since then, that's the way I've always looked at that verse and the kind of things that God can do. Because if it wasn't for God, then I would not have gotten through that. Because I was the strong one of the family. My dad was trying to fake staying strong for my mom, and I was trying to keep myself together for my dad. Because if I lost it, then my dad would, and then my mom would follow down suit. And that was the last thing we needed. And you can think of your anxiety and your stress from your finals as that fire in the flames that you're trying to get through. And as long as it's in God's hands, and you let it be in God's hands, then it cannot consume.
Yay! I've already stood up 3 times. I have to sit back down. It's okay. I feel like I'm overdressed for this.
Woo! Look good.
Sorry, business casual back here.
Thank you. I feel like everybody else prepared really well for this, but I'm gonna kind of do what I've done for the last 2 semesters, which is completely wing it. I'm Abby, if you don't know me, hello. So pretty much, I came into college with this very structured plan. I knew exactly what I wanted to do with my life. I knew exactly what I wanted my job to be. I knew exactly what classes I needed to take. I had planned out every single class I was going to take, first semester of college. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew going in, I was like, all right, we're going to get in, get out, find my husband along the way, get married after college, the usual plan. Funny thing, sometimes when you have really good plans, God completely wrecks it up. And every time I've had a plan for my life in college, God has completely wrecked those plans. And a lot of times that has wrecked me. And it's been really hard. College is really hard. And college has not always been the most fun time for me, as some of you know. But the one thing that has stayed consistent no matter where my relationship with God has been, because at some points in college it's been really, really good, and then at some points it's been not so good. But the one thing that's been consistent is the community here. I always have people here I know I can count on. I always can count on, every couple weeks a random Beth text that's like, hey Queen, just thinking of you today. And it always makes my life so much better. I always know that I can text Mike like I did last night before I go to bed at 2 a.m. and he will respond when he wakes up 2 hours later at 4 a.m.
It's so true.
It's a beautiful thing because I will literally text him at 3 a.m. and it's 4 a.m. text back, but very different schedules there. But it's like I told him, I was like, hey, I need to meet, and he immediately is like, okay, where can I put you in my schedule? Morgan is like, where can I fit you in my schedule? Morgan's picked me up and sat in a Target parking lot with me and cried for 2 hours. These people are your community, they are your family. And I know that you can kind of be here as much or as little as you want, but the people here are here for you. I can really say without some of the people here, I would not be alive today. And I'm just really grateful to have a place like this. So if you think you're getting rid of me next semester, that's really funny, because I'll still be here. But anyway, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Good job. I'm gonna play a little sing song for you guys. Okay, so anybody who knows even the slightest bit about me, music is very important. And there's a song that the most wonderful and magnificent Jessica Breeden talked about earlier this semester, and I was the only person who knew who did it. which was funny.
Good save.
So, anyway, so it's called If We Were Vampires by Jason Isbell. If you weren't here to listen to her wonderful sermon. But the song is about the inevitability of having a relationship while also having to deal with the inevitability of passing away. And sorry, that was really morbid. Anyway, so the song basically boils down to, if we live forever, why would we live for the little moments? Why would we live for the people in our lives? And it's very important. It really spoke to me a lot, mainly because I was the only one who knew Jason Isbell, and it was cool. But that song it's really good, and I found a verse last night about like that kind of plays along with it, about like living for the moment, living for the people that you really love in your life. And it's Ephesians chapter 5 verses 15 and 16. So I found 2 verses, and it's be very careful then how you live, not as unwise but as wise, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. So you never know what comes next, and to quote Kung Fu Panda,
yes.
I was looking for a verse, and this is all that I can think of. Tomorrow is a mystery. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. That is why we call it the present. I heard somebody quoting it over there. But anyway, so it's If We Were Vampires by Jason Isbell. And you need to listen to a lot more of him. It's not the long flowing dress that you're in, or the light coming off of your skin. The fragile heart you protected for so long, mercy in your sense of right and wrong. It's not your hand searching slow in the dark, or your nails leaving rose water mark. It's not the way you talk me off the roof, your questions like directions to the truth. It's knowing that this can't go on forever. Likely one of us will have to spend some days alone. Maybe we'll get 40 years together, but one day I'll be gone, but one day you'll be gone. If we were vampires and death was a joke, we'd go out on the sidewalk and smoke, and laugh at all the lovers and the plans. I wouldn't feel the need to hold your hand. Maybe time running out is a gift. I'll work hard till the end of my shift, and give you every second I can find, and hope it isn't me who's left behind. It's knowing that this can't go on forever. Likely one of us will have to spend some days alone. Maybe we'll get 40 years together, but one day I'll be gone, one day you'll be gone. It's knowing that this can't go on forever. Likely one of us will have to spend some days alone. Maybe we'll get 40 years together, but one day I'll be gone, one day you'll be gone.
fun.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm checking what time it is. Ben. Okay. Contrary to popular belief, I hate public speaking. So, my name is Faith, for those of you that don't know me. I'm a sophomore here, and I just wanted to share like a little snippet of my testimony because it hits pretty hard for me at least. And so, about, I can't even remember now, 2 or 3 years ago, I got really, really, really sick all at once. And it was just, it hit me like a truck, like a 16-wheeler, and it humbled me hard. Oh boy, it humbled me. I was really into pretty much like every sport that you could possibly think of. I played travel soccer year-round. I was looking at colleges. I was in 10th grade. I was looking at colleges to go play soccer for. I was looking at Tech to play soccer here. And so I was like really into that, and that was like, I was tunnel vision the entire way through. I just wanted to play soccer somewhere, and that was like my goal. I was doing well in school, had a lot of friends, so my life was like, I don't want to say I peaked in high school, but like, I kind of peaked.
Same.
I kind of peaked in high school. So I was like smooth sailing, and one day, I'll never forget the day. I was like, Mom, I really just like don't feel good today, and that's not like me. I was that kid that could lick the floor and be fine, and never get sick. And she was like, oh, we'll just go to practice, it'll be fine. I go to practice, and my coach actually sent me home because she was like, this is not like you. You are, I don't know what's happening to you, but I was like a ghost, and it was just bad. So I went home thinking it was just, you know, the flu or something, and so I just kept pushing through for like 2 weeks. You know, you're supposed to get over the flu in like 2 weeks. I did not. It just kept getting worse, and we couldn't figure out what's wrong, and I got frustrated. I'm very impatient. I don't like to wait for things. I like to just go, go, go. And so I was like, Mom, something's seriously not right. My heart started like feeling weird and ended up being heart palpitations. So like every time I'd stand up, it would just like race and slow down and stop. And then I started getting these like crippling headaches. I couldn't breathe very well. I couldn't stand up for more than like 10 minutes without having to sit down. And it was just, we couldn't figure out what was wrong. So we started going to hospitals in the ER, and they're like, everything's fine. Your blood work was fine. There's nothing wrong. There's no signs of anything. We can't figure out what's happening to you. Like, it's all in your head. And that was defeating because when a doctor says it's in your head, you just that's the best way to put it. I really, like, if any of y'all are becoming doctors in here, don't you ever tell somebody that. And so, I went to RMH in Harrisonburg, where I'm from, like January, a couple times. We couldn't figure out anything there. Infectious disease doctor. We thought maybe it could be POTS. That was kind of like what we were leaning towards. Maybe thought post-COVID, because it was around that time. And we finally just gave up and went to UVA. And we were like, listen, we're not leaving here without something. And that was my mom. My mom's scary when she's mad. And they were like, all right. And so they were like, maybe it's Lyme disease. I was like, the only thing I could figure out is like chronic Lyme disease. So it got to the point where at one point, I'm gonna try not to get emotional. At one point, I was laying in bed one night. My parents weren't home. I can't remember why they weren't home. But I was watching a movie on my phone, and like I started to feel real bad. And I was like, I cannot figure out this is bad. And I genuinely, like, I thought to myself, I was like, this is the night that I'm gonna die. Like, I felt like my eyes closing. I just felt horrible. Like, I just like genuinely like this is the night. I'm just gonna like close my eyes tonight, and I'm gonna pass away. And it's just, that's it. And so it was really hard. And so that was kind of the night that I was like, all right. So I got down like on my hands and knees, even though I couldn't really get out of bed. And I was like, I just cried, and I just like was like, God, I was like praying to him, and I was like, God, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing or how I'm supposed to pray. I was never taught how to pray properly, but I was like, I just need help. I don't want to go yet. I don't think I'm supposed to go yet. I think I'm supposed to share my story and share light with the world. Like, I'm not ready. I don't think you think I'm ready. And so I just like released it all out. And I told myself, I was like, I'm gonna go to bed, for better or for worse. And we're just gonna see if I wake up in the morning and if it's gonna be a normal day. And I go to bed, and I woke up in the morning, which was like, and I was super happy, and I told my mom and my dad, and they were like, why did you not call us? And I was like, you know, I thought God had my back. So I was like, we're good. And so from then on, we sort of figured everything out, and they think that it was chronic Lyme disease, and I was on 7 antibiotics for over a year, which wrecked me and destroyed me. And it was a lot of trust in God throughout that process. It was a very hard situation, especially for me, because I had to give up my dreams, and I had to sacrifice a lot through that process. But I also met a lot of great people, and like, I wouldn't be here today with you all if that didn't happen. So I just want to kind of share that testimony, and yeah. Oh, also I have to add, because I think this is great, you all probably hate it, but when I was in the hospital and they were drawing my blood was the consistency of like corn syrup. No. When after a couple days after that night, and they were like, I don't know how you like got through this. Like, this is insane. They couldn't get blood out of my arm to take blood samples with, and so after that, it was, yeah, since then, it's been a great time. And I'm much better now. So thanks to all the doctors and everybody and all the prayers. So yeah, thank you.
I hate public speaking, but there's been something that I've been thinking about a lot this semester that God just keeps reminding me of, and that it's just all semester. Why don't Garrett and Silas have girlfriends? That's not it. I just want to talk about community and showing up for people. I came to CCBT on the very first day of my freshman year, and I grew up in faith, but it just wasn't what it was now. And I saw all these people and all these like friends, and I thought, man, like that looks so fun. Growing up in church, I'd always wanted church friends that like you see on Sundays, you go to church together, you sit together, and it's super cute. And I never had that, but I always wanted that. So coming to CCBT, I saw all these really, really good friends. I was like, that looks so cool. Like, I really want to have that. But I never felt like I did until this past year. And so I just want to offer you some encouragement if you feel like that's you, if you feel loved here and you feel like you belong here, but you still don't feel like your people are here. Keep showing up, even when you don't want to. Go to Bible study, even when you literally really don't want to be there. On Friday nights, when you would so much rather be in your bed by yourself, like go to whatever event is going on. And if you're a bad texter, become a better one and reply to people's texts. And I promise, like it takes a lot of work, but it's so worth it once you have it. And I always thought that showing up for people had to be like this big elaborate thing. I always thought it was like coming in wearing your cape, saving the day. It was like you're the hero of the story. And I've learned this semester that that's not it at all. Sometimes the biggest parts of showing up are the smallest things. Whether it's having dinner for someone when they're home, or buying paper plates and spoons so they don't have to cook, or just doing laundry so they can wear their favorite sweatshirt. And they'll never forget who shows up for them. So, that's all.
My attendance every second.
Yeah. Timer set.
Okay. I just want to say, obviously, a lot of folks have been up here already tonight, talking about how much they value the community that's been built here. And while all glory does go to God, I think we would miss if we didn't thank his faithful servants that made it possible. So let's give a quick round of applause for Mike, Morgan, Brandon, and all their students. That's really all I have. If I don't know you, look forward to next semester so we can get to know you. All right, y'all.
Ever. Anytime. Anytime now.
Hi, I'm Alex.
That was so well done.
I was hoping I would get that back. So that was perfect. So I don't even know how to begin. I was like, oh, I'll probably go up tonight. I've been asked a few times, like, oh, you gonna say something? I'm like, yeah, probably. I have kind of an idea of what I'm gonna say. So if it comes out jumbled and out of place, just my brain is catching up with the other part of my brain. So I've transferred here as a junior, and which was kind of difficult because I've never moved away from home. And I lived off campus. I live off campus now. So coming here, I was like, oh, college is gonna be great, this is gonna be exciting. And I go to an empty apartment for the first couple nights, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of getting old. I don't know anybody yet. I left all my friends, I left all my support system back home. And I was trying to get involved, so I went on Gobbler Connect and looked for events. And I'm like, oh, a bonfire night with a Christian group, that'll be good. And I pull up, and there's people out in the front yard playing volleyball and stuff. I'm like, oh, they already know each other. That's scary. So I was parked over there, and I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, I don't know if I can do this. And I was about to cry, and she's like, no, you should do it, you should do it. I'm like, okay, I'll see. I'm like, I'll do a drive-by. So I start walking by and just let's see what happens. And then someone's on the porch. I'm pretty sure it was Maddie. She was at Liberty now. Well, I guess she's in Liberty Online, but she's in Hampton now. And she's like, hey, you want free food? And I'm like, that's my it. I absolutely want free food. So I go up on the porch, I get inside, and then I see Kinsey, who was in my class earlier that week. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know that face. And since then, it's just kind of been this journey of never looking back. She just introduced me to everybody. She just made me feel so welcome. Morgan was the next friendly face that made me feel so welcome, then Mike, and then just countless others. And coming into this, I was kind of okay, well, I want to see this, but I want to see if there's any other Christian groups that might catch my eye, and let's see what they're about. But I couldn't get over that feeling of just comfort here and love and community and this real Christ-like love that I couldn't really describe. I just felt this peace. So I kept showing up to things, and I'm still kind of feeling that loneliness of wanting to make myself presentable so people will like me and make friends and stuff. And this whole time here, it's really been this journey of learning how to really love others rather than wait for them to notice you, to initiate that, start noticing others, start putting your perspective on others rather than yourself, because I've been just kind of so selfish. When you're lonely, you just start hearing those thoughts in your head, and then you start spiraling, so it's very self-isolating and self-focused. But I mean, if you've talked to me before here, you probably have made an impact in some positive way, and you've just reached out, and I've got little texts, and Beth helping me with my course request, and I got a text from Hannah over a weekend just asking how I was, and just those little things just keep making me realize over and over again that it's really about loving others, and that's what this whole community is. And I guess that's just something that God's been teaching me in my life, of just by others loving me so much and so lavishly, that I want to be someone who loves them back. Like that's this impression on my heart. They just want to love them back. So yeah, just if you've ever smiled at me, if you've ever said hi, if you've ever said, if you know my name now, like just, this is just, I guess, a reflection of my gratitude because you really made a difference in my life. Okay, so this is my favorite joke. So if you don't like it, like, you're not funny.
So that means everyone laugh.
Yeah. So I have to preempt this. Is anyone familiar with the poem "The Prince and the Sand"?
Yes, oh my God.
Just like that.
So if you're not familiar, the poem is along the lines of that you're walking like through the sands of time, like at the beach of life, I think, with Jesus. And you're walking across the sand and you see like reflecting back represents like your past, and then like the dark parts of your life, you only see one set of footprints, and the light parts you see two sets of footprints. And you look to Jesus and you say, Jesus, why did you abandon me in the dark parts, but you were with me during the light parts? And he says, those are the times I carried you. It's a very nice poem. So my joke is you're walking on the sands of life with Sasquatch, and you look back over the annals of time, and you see during the dark parts of your life, there's only one set of footprints, and the light parts of your life, there's two sets of footprints, and you say, Sasquatch, you turn to him and you say, Sasquatch, why during the dark parts of my life did you abandon me? In the light parts, you were there with me. And Sasquatch turns to you and goes, ooh!
I told Megan the other day, I was like, you won't catch me twice standing up there. That's
You're right, just
as
once.
I'm sitting here, my heart is like racing. I'm like, okay, I think that means I should probably say something. But, so if you know me, which some of you do, some of you don't, I'm a very planned person. So my whole life, I've planned to come to Tech, right? I'm like, senior year, oh, this is the only place I'm gonna apply. And then God's like, remember how like you know where you want to do? Like Thomas Rhett has that song, you make your plans and you hear God laughing. Well, that was me when my decision came in and then it said I was deferred. And so I was like sobbing, right? Like this is the worst day of my life. I was coming to Tech, I went home from the hospital in Tech onesie, I was devastated. So then I'm like, it's okay. I'm just gonna put all my time into God. Like there's a reason for everything, and there definitely was. Because the next time that the admissions stuff starts rolling around, I'm like, wow, I got in. And my family's like, we knew you would, it's okay. And that same weekend was actually the weekend that I gave a sermon. Like I had to preach at church, and I talked about, it's terrible that I can't remember the exact verses, but it's in Matthew, and it talks about how, like, why worry when God already has a plan for you? And so whether you're worrying about finals or you're worrying about your job, those are two very different things. But everyone has their own worries in their life. Just know that spend your time with God, and He's going to answer your prayers. And so, yeah, that's really all I have to say.
I can go again.
I can do my news report.
I was kidding, but sure.
True Abby Coleman fashion. It's also senior fashion. I don't really know what I'm going to say. But I will say something. And
it'll be something.
It'll be something. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I'm a senior. I graduate in 2 days.
What?
I go to Radford. I know, wait, didn't know, graduation, move. So, I graduate in 2 days, which is kind of crazy, and it's like becoming a real life adult. I was a student teacher, and my kids were like, wait, you're gonna be like a real life teacher? And I was like, yeah, real life adult here, which is kind of crazy. So I think like this time of like graduation is all that big reflection of like, oh my gosh, like 4 years ago me, and 4 years ago me, whoa, like that was a lot. But I'm very different now, and I think that that's a good thing. And I think if 4 years ago you're gonna tell me I was gonna be doing this, I'd be like, no. And so, well, one, I don't go to tech, so if you told me I was gonna go to campus ministry tech, I'm like, that's weird. But it's great, and it's been great. And so I think that like, it's been really cool, and I don't know where Mike went, because I'm going to shout him out.
We'll tell him.
God.
He can watch the live stream.
It's his bedtime.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I gotta go. Yeah, I think it's really cool. I think the one thing, like I said, they said seniors give wisdom. I don't really know if I have a lot of that, but the one thing I would say would be like, to just really put yourself out there and do it scared, as the Queen Morgan says, because this is something that I was really scared to do, like to come to CCBT at the beginning, and I came my freshman year of college actually, and I came one time, and I didn't come again for 2 years, and so I came once, and I don't know if many people know that. I had gone to youth group at Bodybuilders, or we go to Belmont, and they're like, you should go to CCBT, you should go to CCBT, and I was like, okay, yeah, my mom was like, you need to go to CCBT, and it was like, because I didn't know what I was doing with my life, and so I was like, okay, I'll go. I was terrified the entire time. I had an Alex moment where I was like, I can't do this. I was walking up, like I was freaking out, and then I came in, and I talked to no one, and I sat, and I didn't really want anyone to talk to me. I just went, I guess, to say that I went, and then it was like, I was like, yeah, this is not my place. Like, I felt like everyone was friends, and like they don't want to be friends with me, even though I didn't really put myself out there to be friends with them. So I was like, yeah, so I never came back. But Mike, in the intentional, Mike texted me every single Thursday for a year. Hey, bestie. Thank you, I appreciate it. So yeah, I went one Thursday, and then he texted me every single Thursday and said, hey, you should come to worship, and I never did. And I left him on open. He texted me sometimes on my phone number and Snapchat one time. And
look at Nakora. She's mad. She's mad at you.
I know. It was wrong. I would never do it now. I would never do it today. But I was in like a very different place, and I wasn't really even going to church all that much. And I grew up in faith, but I just kind of lost my way a little bit. So I was like, no. I already went there once. I gave it one try, and I was on my people, and and I just kept leaving poor Mike Solar on open. But he texted me every single Thursday, and before I talked about this in my last Take 5 night, but God really changed my heart. I went to Mexico and went on a mission internship, and God really changed my heart. But like a week before I went, I still was not super involved, still hadn't come back to CCBT, like was still holding strong with the leaving them unopened. And he texted me and was like, do you want to lead worship at CCBT? And I was like, what? Like, I don't go to CCBT. Like, I was like, oh, maybe. Like, maybe. Like, I said maybe because I had done it in youth group. And I went to Mexico, and I led worship for the first time in like 2 years. Kyle threw me under the bus in that one also. So I hadn't sang in front of people in 2 years, and we had led worship together in high school, and he told these people in Mexico, oh, Hannah sings. Hannah, in fact, had not sang in a long time, but I did, and I was great. And so I was like, but I was like, you know what, I like really enjoyed that, and I like, basically God just like changed my heart, which I talked about last Take 5, and I texted Mike from Mexico for the first time in a year. I didn't leave on open, I texted him, and I was like, hey, I actually do want to do that, I think. And so I texted him, and I came to one CCBT after, and it's like been history ever since. I've never felt like so included and so welcomed in a place. And like now, like being able to lead a women's Bible study and like consistently lead worship here and like just interact with you all, like I've never had a place like home like this. And so I think the main thing, I guess as a senior, that I want to say is just don't give up on it. If you feel really at home here, like that's awesome, but like keep texting your friends over and over and over. Like even if like it may be annoying, but like if you really feel like, because it's so cool, like God knew I needed this place, and so like I was gonna come here eventually. Like it took me years, but like God really knew that I needed this place, and so like I would just really want to mention to be intentional with sending out invitations, even if it's not directly to CCBT, but send out invitations to people to spend time with you and have dinner, or you know, talk about Jesus, have Bible study, or just get coffee and spend time, because like that intentionality is like what got me here, and like God has used that so much, and it's just like changed my life, and like now my like whole course of life is different, and CCBT has been like a place that I can find community and have a ministry to where I'm gonna go do ministry actually abroad. So like it's been such a place that was like so needed in college, and when I think about college now, all I can think about is CCBT, and so I think that that's really cool, and so I really appreciate you all, and I think that's what I would say is keep doing the things even if you're scared. Maybe give it more than one try, and to be intentional, like sending invites and reaching out to people and just loving each other well. So I think that that's all.
Yeah, do it! Do it!
I last year thought about saying something and I didn't, and it's been marinating, so I feel like I should say something, and what's getting cracked?
2 for 2, Ramos.
I know.
I really know how to make other people cry too.
I saw a video the other day, and it was like a workout video thing, but it was like you have one more rep to give, and I thought it was really encouraging. And this is what I thought about last year was, unfortunately, I'm sure somebody in the room is really struggling, and I want you to know it will get better, and it's very important they don't quit on us, because this house is full of people who love you and are very encouraging, and we notice when you're not here, and I promise it's worth it, and it gets better, and I don't know who I'm talking to, but whoever feels like, whoa, call me out, I am, and I promise, because I'm sure somebody feels that way, especially now, especially after 5 p.m. So, this is not the yeah, it's just very important to me that if you feel called out, that you know that it is very important to me that you are here next semester and next fall, and it's worth it, and it will get better. That's all.
Amen.
Oh my god.
Alright, land the plane, Kenzie.
Hey, some of y'all missed the message. It's business casual.
I'm sorry. I wasn't planning on sharing anything either, but if any of you don't know me, my name is Kinsey. I'm a senior at Tech. But I don't know if any of you were here at the beginning of the semester when Morgan, I believe, taught a message, and Jack stood up at the front, and she kept like piling stuff on him, like books and like things, and like he did a really good job of like holding it all up, but like he definitely looked like he was about to fall over. It was heavy, right? But I just want to say, like, this past semester has been so crazy for me, and honestly, like, my life has been a depiction of like what Jack looked like when he was standing up here with all those books on him. And when Morgan and I met last week, she asked me what I was going to share, like if I had anything that God was teaching me over the past semester, and I was like, no, like I don't have anything to say, like I don't really feel like God has taught me like anything in my life this semester, because I've just felt so busy and so overwhelmed with all the things in life that I've really been putting God on the back burner, and I really feel like, you know, I hadn't really been prioritizing my time with Him, and I've been using like my busyness in my life as an excuse. And you know, like I talked to Kaylee like literally on the way over here, and I was like, you know, I feel guilty, and she was like, well, guilt is not of God, and I totally agree.
But I just wanted to share and kind of just encourage any of you who maybe have been feeling that way this semester. If you felt like Jack looked like, with all of the books and all the weight and all the heavy things of your life just on you this past semester, that you're not alone, and there are probably plenty of other people in this room that feel the same way. And you shouldn't feel guilty over it. There are so many ways that you can spend time with God rather than just like sitting down and reading your Bible for an hour. Whether that's just listening to one worship song in the car on the way to wherever you're going, or just saying a quick prayer and asking God to just like make your day good and help you and just like be along with you on just throughout your day. But yeah, I just wanted to like give a quick encouragement, because I know, you know, we're like in some of the busiest times of our life right now, just going through finals and everything, but just to not feel like guilty and bad about yourself, to not spend time with the Lord, because that's not how he looks at it, and he's always with you and he's always there. And you have so many people just in this room who are with you too and on your side and cheering you on. But yeah.
Yeah.
Me next.
There's a little hug moment going on back here. Okay.
Yay, Morgan.
I just want to thank those of you that got up here and spoke, because it takes courage, and it's scary to stand in front of a room, and don't make no mistake, like we know that, even if we do it more frequently. But I feel really encouraged, and in times where you don't see what God is doing, it is really beautiful to hear what he's been doing in the lives of the people that you see all the time, every week, or even every day in some cases. And that's a sweet thing to celebrate. And so whether you shared or you didn't, but you have some good things, or you've been thinking about some things that God has been teaching you, I think what Mike said at the very beginning is true. Like, when God is teaching you something, that's not just for you. Like, that is to be shared. And so just like every Thursday night, our hope is that this is just the start of a conversation. And so I would encourage you guys, if you didn't share, or maybe you had something but just didn't want to stand up here tonight, to share with the people that are in your circle, whether they're in this room right now or not. Like, be bold in the way you speak that, because it is so encouraging when you hear that in other people. So we're proud of you. We love you guys. And to close tonight, we want to honor our seniors that are graduating, whether in 2 days or what, a week-ish? A week? 8 days. 2 days or 8 days. Either way, so if we can get Brandon, you want to come up here too?
Oh, Brandon.
All right. This is going to be special.
Hi, Brandon.
Okay. We have some grad gifts we would like to present to our cute graduating seniors, as well as a CCBT official diploma that every staff member has signed with a very specific degree in your name that we believe you have earned here in this place. And the degree will be completed when you sign your name on the graduate line.
You must
will
sign
officially
it.
have graduated here at CCBT. So, would you like to present the degrees?
Sure.
I think you're up for it. A gift.
Do I just go in order? Should I read the whole thing?
You do what feels right to you.
Okay.
If you read it fast.
The campus minister staff of Christ Church of Virginia Tech have conferred upon Hannah Carr, upon the recommendation of themselves. I forgot how funny this is. The degree of a Bachelor of Science in Finding a Polish Husband. Privileges, honors pertaining thereto. Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, perfect.
Whatever. This is your moment. Hannah Carr, a BS in Finding. Get your gifts. Oh.
Sorry, they're not trained.
Alexa is going to get a picture with the camera. Can you see her?
Oh, you want a picture? She wants a picture.
Oh. Thank you. She thought that you would like it.
Right, it's not for me.
This is cute.
You told me you don't have your phone.
Wow. Yay, Hannah!
Next graduate is Abby Coleman. A Bachelor of Science in Announcement Newscasting 101. You know that's what she wins. 101, yeah. It's pretty special.
Do I get it? Can I wear it now?
Do you have one?
No, I don't have one.
There you
Go.
go.
Shake hands.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Get it.
Did you get quartz?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. She wants me to.
Congratulations.
Wow, look at us.
Okay. Precious.
This is a very long degree, so stay with me. Upon Corinne Emerson, a Bachelor of Science in making no money at her job, and a minor in finding a way into the wills of old men. She works with the elderly folks, okay? She takes care of old people.
Yay,
All right. This one got cut short. If you want to know the rest of it, I'll tell you later, Caleb. But Caleb Hicks, ladies and gentlemen, a Bachelor of Science in looking hot no matter what haircut they have. Yes. Don't forget the picture.
Very important. Back off. And the gifts.
Caleb just bet my diploma.
Yours.
Smile. Diploma. He done
She told you to smile. Oh, he courted you.
Wow, that's special.
You got courted, baby.
Brandon.
Cindy Moses couldn't beat her tonight, but she gets a Bachelor of Science in clothing, CCVT with style. She makes clothes for us. What a beautiful time. We've got two left here, folks. Garrett Bell. It's only men that stood.
Yep.
I'm living proof that if you text a person for over a year and they don't reply, if they go to Mexico, they'll text you back. So, you know, never know. Garrett Bell has a Bachelor of Science in sneaky smiles and leading a secret double life. He's actually married and has 3 kids. No one is. Congratulations. Turn around, sir. Oh, you got the double.
That's what it's about.
Okay, last one.
All right. 2. The man, the myth, the legend. Joe Wagner. It's a very controversial degree. A Bachelor of Science in truly being CCVT's most eligible bachelor. Take that, Silas and Garrett. Take that. Sir.
You can actually shake hands.
That's what shake hands. Bachelor of Science and actually shake hands.
Alright, smile for your
Hey.
Wow, congratulations.
You get back there. Oh.
Run, bro.
I love you, Brandon.
Good job, Brandon.
It's up to you.
Okay. We're gonna close tonight out with one last worship song together. So would you guys
It'll be
please
cute.
stand up and welcome our worship
And do we just give take